Hello and welcome to the football world. You're watching the Football Current, powered by pure football energy. The moment football discovers a phenomenon, the world doesn't react slowly. Everything shifts instantly. And right now, the sport is experiencing that shift because an 18-year-old Brazilian in Chelsea blue is bending the game into shapes nobody expected this early. From the first touch he took in Europe, it felt different. The timing, the fearlessness, the electricity every time the ball gravitated toward him. Football has seen teenage prodigies before, but with Estevão Willian, something feels more urgent, more accelerated, almost unnatural. It's the unmistakable sensation that a generational talent is awakening faster than anyone can process. And if you look closely, you can sense an entire era quietly forming around him. Not in 4 years, not after his development phase, but right now in real time. That's why the football world is suddenly holding its breath. Because this isn't supposed to happen at 18. A Champions League penalty converted with ice-cold calmness. A Premier League winner against Liverpool. A scoring rate for Brazil that echoes legends. And a level of technical maturity so polished it forces veteran defenders into hesitation they're not used to feeling. This is the rapid rise of Estevão Willian, the teenager becoming a monster faster than football can build a cage around him. He was born in 2007 in the football-obsessed region of Franca, Brazil. A place where pitches aren't just spaces to play, they're laboratories where dreams are engineered. From the moment he entered Cruzeiro's academy, coaches saw something unusual. He wasn't simply a flair player. His dribbling was functional, his balance unnerving, his decision-making strangely mature. And because he adored Lionel Messi, the nickname Messinho was slapped onto him before he even turned 11. But unlike most kids who crumble under comparisons, he wore it lightly, almost indifferently, as if he already understood he'd grow into something that didn't need a nickname. By age 10, Nike signed him, the youngest Brazilian ever to earn the contract. By 16, at Palmeiras, he won 4 major youth titles in what felt like minutes. And soon, scouts weren't just filing reports, they were making pilgrimages. Barcelona wanted him badly. PSG were ready to pay 50 million euros for a kid who still had homework. But the boy who dreamed of Europe didn't want noise, he wanted a pathway. And in June 2025, when Chelsea activated a £34 million deal, the journey truly began. For Chelsea fans, the excitement was mixed with disbelief. They were used to hearing about projects and potential. But this wasn't potential, this was production. Immediate, consistent, terrifying production. For goals, 1 assist, and becoming the youngest player ever to record an assist in Premier League history. But the numbers tell only a fraction of the story. What really captured attention was how he played. Not like a teenager, not like a raw dribbler, but like someone who had been studying elite football from the inside for a decade. His positioning was intelligent. His carries were vertical and purposeful. His dribbling, not for TikTok, not for applause. It was weaponized. Every action carried intention. Break the shape, pull defenders, create chaos, exploit half spaces, open passing lanes. He wasn't improvising, he was calculating. And this becomes even clearer when you look at what he's doing for Brazil. 5 goals in his first 10 caps. MVP awards. A goal every 94 minutes. A number that places him ahead of Ronaldo Nazario, Neymar, and Zico at the same stage. This isn't normal. This is career-defining form happening before the career has even started. When you study his game, the first thing that jumps out is the Messi-like fluidity. The ability to glide instead of sprint, to shift weight instead of forcing power, to break lines with minimal touches rather than overcomplicating situations. Against West Ham, the sequence said everything. A simple combination. But his true arrival moment in Europe came against Ajax. Deployed on the right, he didn't just play, he dominated. 10 crosses, 8 shots, penalty he won and then buried. 70 touches from a teenager in a Champions League night, more than every attacker on the pitch. His XG, 1.66, unheard of for an 18-year-old winger. But what stood out most wasn't the numbers. It was the courage. He demanded the ball in spaces other youngsters avoid. He played like someone who had no interest in easing into European football. He intended to take it by force. And he did. But if Europe was stunned, Brazil was electrified. Because with the national team, he has even more freedom and even more danger. On the right wing, he feels like a blender set to maximum speed. Defenders get swallowed. His goal against Senegal was pure instinctual brilliance. A rebound hit first time with balance and venom. Against South Korea, he demanded the ball before it arrived, signaling where he wanted it, then finishing with veteran composure. This is what separates talent from destiny. Not just ability, but awareness, timing, presence. The ability to sense a gap before it even opens. And then there's mentality, the part of his game that terrifies professionals. Champions League pressure? He embraces it. Premier League physicality? He adapts. A last-minute chance against Liverpool? He punishes. At 18, he is already living in moments that age most players. Look at his winner versus Liverpool. It wasn't just a tap-in. It was pattern recognition. He kept a calculated distance from the defender. Never too close, never too far. He watched the cross develop. He delayed his run until the exact millisecond. And when the defender blinked, he pounced. That awareness isn't taught. It's inherited from the footballing gods. And yet, for all his brilliance, he is still incomplete. His physicality needs sharpening. The comparisons to Neymar were inevitable. And to be fair, they're not lazy comparisons, they're accurate. Both share the Brazilian cocktail of unpredictability, improvisation, and pure audacity. Both attack defenders with the same hypnotic rhythm. Slow, 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 explosion. Both drift into half spaces to create and finish. Both see passes others don't. Both take responsibility in big games. Both carry that effortless swagger that tells defenders, "You're not stopping me. You're only delaying the inevitable." But there is one difference. Neymar was chaos in its most beautiful form. Estevao is chaos with restraint, calculation, and discipline. Neymar was art. Estevao is architecture. Neymar broke rules. Estevao bends them without ever losing control. That is what makes him truly frightening. Chelsea now possess a player who isn't just a winger. He is a system. You can build tactics around him. You can anchor a national team around him. You can give him the ball and trust that something will happen. Maybe not always a goal or assist, but always a shift. A tilt, a crack in the defensive structure. For Brazil, he might be the missing piece heading into the 2026 World Cup. A winger who can create, finish, dominate, and carry pressure without breaking. For Chelsea, he is the foundation of a new era. A decade-long project who might become one of the most valuable assets on the planet. And remember this, he is still a teenager. His body is still growing. His understanding of European football is still developing. His shot selection still maturing. Everything we're seeing now is not the peak. It's not even the preview of the peak. It's the trailer. The ascent of Estevão Willian is the kind of storyline football rarely grants us. A prodigy arriving ahead of schedule. A national treasure evolving in real time. A club's future wrapped in the body of an 18-year-old. And a player who, if this acceleration continues, might bend the sport into a new era. Because the truth is simple. Football isn't watching the rise of a star. It's witnessing the early chapters of a future global icon. Brazil know it. Chelsea know it. And soon, the entire football world will have to deal with him for the next 15 years. And now the question becomes yours. How far do you think Estevão Willian can go? And will he become Brazil's next true footballing superstar? This is the story still being written. And we've only seen the beginning.